The transition from military service can be challenging, especially for veterans struggling with PTSD. A Clark County veteran says through art, he was able to take back his life after returning from the Air Force.
Well, I'm a professional artist. I live here in central Wisconsin. I've been doing this for about 7 years professionally.
For Shawn Ganther, creating art is all about expressing himself.
I print make, I paint, I do graphic design, screen print, t-shirts. I fell in love with it all.
The Clark County-based artist spent 5 years serving in the Air Force.
This was my initial self-portrait.
Returning to society,
I was a mess.
he says he felt lost.
Every veteran that I talked to that's actually been able to reintegrate and live like a stable, normal life, especially with PTSD, 50% to 100%, has found something to actually help them.
For Shawn, that thing was art.
So I took a drawing class, and in that class, I just finally started expressing myself, things I could do with drawing that, I couldn't really want, or didn't want to talk about, but I could put it on paper. And my professor saw this, and he immediately pulled me out, and he's like, "Are you a veteran?"
By finding art,
I just unleashed on this thing. I was making these huge broad, it was charcoal, these broad charcoal strokes across the thing, and I had charcoal all over me, and it was coming out, and I didn't even know it was coming out. Apparently from that, he could deduce that I had some sort of trauma that I was dealing with.
Ganther confronted his PTSD.
It's like it exploded out of me. It just started painting and drawing, and it was like an endless supply of art. Everything was angry painting. It was sad. It was happy. I didn't know what my voice was.
Since then, his work has been shown at the National Veterans Museum, the Pentagon, and the Smithsonian.
So they had people submitting from all over the place, and I just happened to be one of 50 to get accepted in.
One thing.
And he's even participated in a documentary, Lionhearted,
Was family.
showing at the Smithsonian and online.
I got involved in that project, and we traveled around the country, interviewing veterans and talking about their past experiences and what they went through and how they actually cope.
The film is intended to help other vets break down barriers and overcome trauma.
I wasn't an Army Ranger or anything like that. I was in the Air Force, and I thought that my trauma didn't compare, so that my trauma wasn't worth it. That I was just a weak individual because I had PTSD.
And I was able to save 4.
So that's why the documentary was important to me, because we have all different branches of military service.
While figuring out what to do next,
So I was standing in line to go see a movie. I'm like, there's 3, I don't want to see a superhero movie. I want to see something about real heroes. And I'm like, wait a minute.
now
This is actually probably my favorite overall.
he is showing off his newest exhibit, Unmasked, in his hometown.
So I'm like, what if I reimagined past American presidents as superheroes? I'm like, number one, when people see them, they're going to wonder why Washington is Batman, or wonder why, Lincoln is Wolverine.
Eventually, Shawn hopes to find a new identity too.
Everything that's on me, if you look out there, is Shawn Ganther, veteran artist. I'm like, oh, that's great. I want to be a regular artist.
But knows that part of his life will always have an influence on his work.
Even the stuff that I have on the walls behind me, my new work, there's still a little bit of inspiration in there, because it's about, it's about leadership.
Ganther spends up to 3 hours a day in his studio, hoping to eventually create art full-time.
It's built into who I am. I can't not make art. I can't even function if I'm not making art. I don't know what to do.
Picking up a paintbrush helped Ganther to pick up the pieces.
As far as PTSD stuff, for the people that see this that haven't dealt with it yet, it never really goes away completely. You still deal with the dreams, you still deal with that, but finding something like art or a different outlet is a way that you can, once you have those dreams and you wake up, you don't have to suppress it anymore.
Now he hopes to inspire others to do the same.
The summer-like temperature